Ace from Phaver, thank
Hi.
you for joining me. Could you please introduce yourself? Tell
Thank
us
you
a little bit about
for
yourself.
yes, thank you for having me today. I'm Ace from Phaver, so I'm currently Japan lead, and I've been in blockchain industry since 2019, and I've been helping organizing some of the Web3 summits in Japan. Um, Also being part of some of the communities, and I joined Phaver last August,
Hmm.
and then since then I've been helping Phaver to grow its user in Japan.
Okay. Before we get started, because you said you started in 2019, how did you get into crypto
Oh, actually, the
blockchain?
first my dive into this industry was I was actually working as a translator. So
Oh,
I actually had a chance to translate um, one of the DeFi project back then, and then that was actually my first steps into the blockchain industry in 2019. That was at the end of 2019.
yeah. So, kind of in the bear market, into the bear market,
Yeah,
starting to get into
yeah, starting to get it.
the
Yes.
bull market. Right? It's a good time to get into.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
back then I think people were talking about Uniswap. I think
Yeah.
SushiSwap was like I think that was like recently came out back then, and I think CryptoKitty was like still.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those times. Yeah, yeah, those times are the
That's
time that I
awesome.
joined. Yes.
A good time to get in. All right, and so could you tell me in a little more detail what you do at Favor?
Yeah, so right now, as a favor, Japan lead, I'm working to grow its user in Japan, but also how is that by partnering up with some of the communities, including Kudasai, JP,
Hmm.
Boarding Bridge, Otaku Labs, many other communities as well, and also working closely with these NFT projects from Japan. So that's what I'm mainly working on right now.
Yeah, um, we talked a little bit previously, and you mentioned I think two or three Japanese native NFT projects.
Yes.
Something ninjas.
I think CNP.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I think yes, one of the NFT project that we have in favor, very active community is CNP. So it's called Crypto Ninja Partners.
Ninja
So
partners. I
it's
like it.
just like all just like just put it together. It's like Crypto Ninja Partners. So, it's very simple, but I like it. So
Me too.
like people call it CNPs. So CNP is one of the project, and also we have LLAC. So it's called Live
Right,
Like a
right, right.
Cat.
Yeah, I live like a
Yeah,
cat. That's
I also
awesome.
really like. I'm also a cat person, so I really like those NFT projects as well.
Cool. So, why is Favor interested in developing or cultivating the Japanese market?
Actually, already now, like we have Japan as our top 5 um users markets right now.
Oh, really?
So we do already have decent number of users in Japan. I think we have around 20,000 users,
Wow.
active users, yeah,
Nice.
from Japan in total. And but we also plan to grow this by 10 times, hopefully.
Nice. Yeah.
But also the reason why is, there are many different communities from many different countries, and I think that there are different types of community and different how do I say vibes for each communities.
Of course.
And I think favor we just like how Japanese communities are sometimes very strong and like they just kind of hold their hands together and it's like stay in the community.
Yes.
So we also
Yeah.
like those very supportive users, and we have been getting these supportive users from Japan for over 2 years now. So that's also another reason why we're focusing on the Japanese market.
How would you describe the Japanese vibe?
So the vibe of Japanese community on favor is actually they're very active.
Okay.
I think Japanese people they use a lot of socials, and I think especially Twitter they use a lot of Twitter.
Yeah.
I think even comparing with other countries, I think Japanese people has been using Twitter a lot, since like over 10 years ago. So I think that actually matches our theme.
Yeah.
And so I think people are also like enjoying favor to use as socials, but also they're using it to get connected with other holders or other communities. We also have this thing called holder community,
Yeah.
where we allow the holder of these collections to enter the group. So only basically holder of the collections can go. So you can actually find your other holders and connect with each other, and talk about the project, make the hype, and
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
these things. So I think people also using favor for that reason.
Right. So what I was trying to get more to is like, so for example, if I were to describe, I don't know, English crypto Twitter,
Right.
I would describe it as kind of degenerate,
Hmm.
very politically incorrect.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, just kind of weird and out there. Is that what you would? Does that sound like Japanese?
So I think for the
Crypto
Japanese
stuff?
crypto, communities, I think there are like different levels.
Okay.
And there are people that knows about Bitcoin,
Right.
but then they don't know about Ethereum.
Right.
So they're like knowledge of blockchain is very very low, but they're still part of these
Yeah,
communities.
yeah.
So there are users like who know about DeFi,
Yeah,
who
yeah,
know about
yeah.
DEX, like all these things. I think when it comes to that, I think it's very very minimum.
Oh,
So
really?
so I think for the majority of the Japanese users, I think they are still in the phase of like learning this
Right.
like blockchain and
What about NFTs? That's higher?
NFTs. So I think we'll probably. I think you had this question
Yes.
coming up, but also another very big blocker for Japanese community to go. Japanese crypto community to grow is actually back in those ICO phases, like in 2012 or 2013.
Mhm.
I think there were many actually fraud and scam
Yes.
that happened.
Tons.
Not only in Japan, but happened in the industry, but there were just many in Japan. So there's actually
Oh,
this
interesting.
image of
Okay.
this scammy stuff still tied up with this a blockchain equals Bitcoin
Wow,
equals
I didn't know that.
scammy. So there are still
Interesting.
many people that feels scary,
Yeah.
entering this industry. And I think that's definitely one of the big blocker that we still
Right.
have nowadays. But I think as we are, having these giant corporates, entities like joining like Web3, I think people are start getting more, they start, feeling more comfortable
Mhm.
with, I think with this industry. So I think we definitely are expecting to see the number of these users grow in this next 3 years or so, I would say. Next year, 2025, there is Osaka Banpaku. So there is like a huge exhibition in Osaka. And,
really?
Yes, so it's called Osaka Banpaku, and we are actually they're expecting to have over 26 million attendees to this
Wow.
event.
That's like a World Expo kind of stuff?
Yes, it's like a basically it's just like a World Expo that
Oh, that's
they're
awesome.
hosting. Yes, and it's like governments related. There's mega banks coming in, and
Favor will be there?
so we are also trying to
Yeah.
trying to be there. Also SVI VC Trade, which is one of the exchanges
Okay.
from Japan, which actually is accepting the stablecoin at the moment. So only the
Oh,
sex
nice.
in Japan that's actually using USDC right now.
Oh, wow,
Because
I
they
didn't know
partnered
that.
up with the Circle.
Right.
So
I've noticed the absence because I also
Yes.
have Japanese sexes, but
yeah, so I
yeah,
think
they
so.
never use US. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Totally.
it's really I think it's really weird that we don't see USDT on these exchanges
yeah.
because they're central exchanges, but
Yeah,
yet
yeah, yeah.
they don't have the stable coins.
Exactly.
But so SVI VC Trade, they partnered up with Circle, and now they have USDC.
Oh, man, that's nice.
So yeah, I was really happy to see that come, and they are actually also playing a role in this expo that I just mentioned.
Yeah.
So I think there are some of those Web3 stuff still happening during this expo as well. So I think as a country, I think we are pushing this this amazing technology and this the crypto industry itself. And so I think right now we're still in a phase of getting out of this whole of it's scammy.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, some are still scammy, and it always will be, but I don't
Yeah.
think it's only in this industry. It's in all the industries
yeah.
that I think we can talk about. So I think just people just needs to learn, and I think that they just need to have more knowledge about it, and I think we just need to start having more people spreading these information.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I kind of got lost, but
No,
yeah.
that's fine. Yeah. No, in my experience, Japanese people are more conservative in general. Like I remember when I first got here 15 years ago, and I would tell my Japanese friends who are my age,
Right.
like I'm using Amazon and da 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 da. They were like, "What? You use Amazon? You put your credit card on a website?" And I was like, "What are you talking about? That's that's some 1990s like,
Yes.
like fears, right?"
Yes.
And so I was like, yeah. So anyway, one question about Phaver's goals in Japan, and then I want to kind of show me some of the things you were showing me off camera.
Yes.
So what are Phaver's kind of goals for the next however long?
In Japan, I guess as a favor, we're definitely we're gonna continue growing as one of the biggest socials
Yeah.
right now, and then well, we are more of like in a gateway to Web3 social. So we continue to becoming this number one gateway to Web3 social, and right now we have Lens protocol and Forecaster. As a protocol that we have connected, so it's actually allowing us to do the cross posting, where user can actually post to Lens and Forecaster from Phaver
Very
app.
convenient.
So yeah, I think it's very convenient, and there are more of those supporting features that we're gonna have, especially for Forecaster. I think we're gonna be implemented as like a frame, features onto Phaver as well. I think we're gonna try to make it comparable for the future as well. But not only with that, I think in the future there might be more socials coming out, but we obviously we plan to continue working with other socials in the future as well. So our ultimate goal is like become like a super app.
Yeah.
And we are currently just the social app. People can connect their NFTs and stuff like that. But we also want to make this app where projects can maybe do their set up their campaigns, or we also have different type of users, such as countries, or which communities, or their interest in. And so I think we can also kind of do like a target in marketing, because we know these a type of users. So maybe these targeting marketing within Phaver, I think might be also interesting to have. So I think to just overall, I think we plan to become the very large super app in this Web3 industry.
Nice. And so part of that process obviously is onboarding people who will use this this social app. And you were telling me that last month you onboarded
Yes. So right
Tell me
now,
about
Phaver also has this program called Creator Program. So we actually onboarding many different creators from different countries all around the world. And recently, about a month ago, we onboarded our first ever Japanese content creator. She's an actually artist from Tokyo. She sings and stuff like that. But then when she first started Phaver, she actually didn't have that much knowledge about blockchain. I mean, she knew what Bitcoin was and Ethereum was, but that was pretty much about it.
Yeah.
But then as she got into Phaver, she started okay, what is Lens protocol, and okay, what is Forecaster, and she got to explore more and more. And surprisingly, her contents got really blown up. She actually grew 4.5K followers just
Nice.
within a month.
Yeah.
Just in those organic numbers, and she's been getting those 3,000 over likes, and we also have this feature called Fave.
Yeah.
I think, which is very interesting. I think fun mechanism that user are enjoying is that let's say when you find someone's very good content, and you fave your fave, and when you fave it, it becomes one fave. If it was zero fave, then it becomes one fave.
Right.
But then if people keep faving, and it becomes let's say 100 fave.
Yeah.
Obviously, the person who faved first will actually be getting more points than the person who faved at the 99.
Right, which is awesome. So it rewards kind of being early.
Exactly, it rewards being early,
finding
good content,
fresher content,
and being active, because you want to find it ideally within a minute of their posting.
Right,
So
right.
I think currently we don't have the post notifications. But I think those features we'll also have in the future, because as I said, this kind of speed is also important. But that's another way that people are enjoying Phaver. Another big thing that I actually wanted to talk about is, so when you actually do this fave, you actually get this points. So we call this a Phaver points.
Yeah.
But there's also another ways that user can earn these Phaver points is by connecting their NFTs. So we have many NFT collections that we have added this cred endpoints. So cred
Are
is
these
actually,
whitelisted NFT projects? You kind of.
Yes, whitelisted. Yes. So there are those. There are just many different ones, including CNPs as well. But right now we are only supporting Ethereum and Polygon right now. So those NFT collections has to come from those chains. But actually we have got many of those Bored Apes, Connected, and Azuki as well. And right now, recently we've been also working closely with Pudgy Penguins.
Oh wow,
So
cool.
yeah, that's also another cool stuff that we actually been having. So those like relationship with other NFT projects is actually also our strength as well.
Yeah. So just going back to this person you onboarded, how did that work? You found her on Twitter, or you reached out to her somehow?
So actually, for this Japanese content creator, she was actually introduced by my mutual friend.
Okay.
So she was actually actually didn't really know what she was doing until then. But then I just had an idea that if we actually onboarded these type of like artists or like models, like KOLs, influencers, I think this is also very good ways that we can onboard these like Web2 users onto this Web3 or Web 2.5 platform onto Phaver.
Yeah.
So we are actually trying to use Phaver to onboard these Web2 users onto Web3.
Yeah.
And then we want to make this platform as like where people can also maybe learn, maybe educate as well. I think that's also maybe another step that we'll be thinking. But yes, so so first how I met was just introduced by my mutual friend.
And then you said she kind of knew about Bitcoin and Ethereum, like just maybe the words.
Yes.
But didn't really. How did that pitch go? How did you kind of?
So I actually
Curious.
how I actually pitched her was actually, so right now we are planning to have this big campaign called Airdrop. So from the name you can probably take a guess, but it's basically an airdrop from Phaver, so we call it Airdrop. So I think now it's a very good timing to actually onboard these users because we have this Airdrop as I think a little prize and rewards for these users to be onboarding right now. And at the same time, we have this one content creator. Sorry, actually mentioned she was the first, but she's actually the second.
Okay.
We had this first content creator. Her name's Pure, and she has been on Phaver for a long time. But then she has been the biggest KOL on Phaver, and it's actually really interesting. She has over 40,000 followers.
Oh my goodness.
On Phaver, and she has over like 4 million points on her account. So
And she joined early, or?
She joined early,
Wow,
and
okay.
I think she also had a very cool contents. Like she actually first was a Instagram influencer.
Oh, okay.
So she was actually otaku. So she was like an anime
Nice.
otaku.
That's
so
how she got in.
she was an anime lover, and she also likes those comics, Pokemon, and these kind of stuff. So she was like posting these kind of contents, and Pure herself, like she's kind of, she's also a cute Japanese girl, so like she also like post a picture of herself with these like a little Pikachu or like
Right.
these contents, and like I think people really love those contents.
Of course.
So she, that's how she also grew. But so that was actually the first content creator that we had, and so although she was really a no one before she was on Phaver, she was not that famous like on Instagram or any other platform.
Right, it's a new opportunity.
So that was like literally a new opportunity, that I found. Oh wow, like there's a potential that people can actually grow
Right,
on Phaver. When
It's a strong pitch.
So I thought that was a strong pitch, and since she was working as an artist, she also has her music out on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music. So obviously these like listener will actually benefit her as well.
Yeah.
So I was also persuading that okay, you might also be able to get these new listeners coming from Phaver, which is I think it's very possible.
Yeah.
And we also have people actually post different type of stuff from, let's say, from my camera roll. Sometimes people post nothing like crypto related stuff, just like a daily stuff as well.
Yeah.
So like
Absolutely.
like some music stuff as well. So I think this is a very good. I just thought this was a good opportunity for her to actually grow more of her fans, and also as a favor, I actually wanted her to bring her fans from these Web to onboard onto Phaver.
Yeah.
So I guess this was the the both ways
Yeah.
Benefits that I was thinking. So.
Did she have any reservations? Was she skeptical or
So-
worried?
Actually, since she was introduced, by me,
I
I also,
see.
gave a little support on, how to join Phaver, how to create the lens, how to, claim those lens IDs and, Farcaster IDs and stuff like that, and how to connect to Phaver. So I guess this little step of, onboarding is a little bit still hard for these, non-native, Web3 users. But I think, but it literally took like less than like 10 minutes
Yeah,
to set
yeah,
up all
cool.
these up. So like, at the end of the day, it still takes literally less than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So I think we'll try to maybe, bring up more content, or like, put up like a tutorial of like how to start Phaver, maybe in Japanese. Maybe that could support, these like non-native Web3 people to actually come into Phaver. But she actually, didn't have much of the worries, because I think as soon as she was onboarded, she actually started to see these like numbers like growing.
Yeah, pretty easy and easy to use and everything. Cool.
And we also have these many other creators in this creator program. So these also creators like support each other's content.
Oh, nice.
So
Very,
I
very
also
cool.
really like that.
Yeah.
They just supports to share their content and stuff. So yeah, I think she also felt like very supportive from those creators as well. So yeah, I think that went very well.
Good. All right, last question, because I know you got to go.
Okay.
Have you seen any kind of difficulties or challenges for not just Phaver, but like a crypto project getting into the Japanese market from your perspective?
I think for this, I think we're just going back to what I was saying, is that I think it's just the image
That's the main one.
Japanese people has towards this industry. I think that is the biggest blocker, I would say.
Probably language too, which is not a problem for you.
Yes, yes, definitely the language barrier is also definitely another thing, because there are many times that these like information come to Japan, but then first like people bilingual people, or like people who can understand like English, or maybe like who can translate, they need to find these like resource and like articles, and they need to translate it into Japanese to share these info with the Japanese people.
Yeah.
But by the time that info actually gets spread it to them, it's actually, we're kind of like already a step like back already.
Yeah,
Like, and
yeah.
the industry is already a step ahead
Yeah.
of us. So like I'm
Right,
talking
yeah.
about even like a token price, right? Like people say that, oh, like this is like great to buy. I think many of the Japanese people have just grabbed at the top and like sold at the bottom. Like
Oh,
I think,
I see. Yeah.
I think that
because they're a step behind, right?
exactly,
and
because
it
we're
moves so
just
fast.
Yes.
Right.
So I think that's also another reason
been
why.
burned.
Exactly. So I think there are many times the Japanese user were kind of like sacrificed, for the markets. So I think that's also another blocker that they have. So I guess language and the image that they have. But I think language could be maybe cleared as we start to see these giant corporates start joining Web3, including these gaming company as well.
Yes,
And right now,
yes.
Astar is making a chain with Sony. So I think that's also, I think, very interesting stuff that we're looking at. And obviously when the Sony chain comes out, then Japanese people are gonna be like, oh wow, like Sony put it out. Like then I feel like many people will probably think that it's more legit.
Yeah.
And especially if we start seeing more stuff happening with those chains, and I think people would just like have more faith in it. But I think slowly I think we're getting more users, and obviously the regulations has become in the better
Clearer
form.
I think.
Yes, I think
in
clearer.
Japan.
Yes, I think it's more clear.
At least compared to America.
Yes, because back before we had this like a guidelines, but guidelines are not really law.
Yes,
it's really like a guideline.
Yeah.
But then so after the Japanese government, they actually made the new laws for this. So I think it's more clear now, and I think we're still trying to make it into like a better form that people can actually invest more money into. But I guess it'll probably still take more times. But yeah, I think either way, I think we're still at the good phase of growing right now.
Probably the beginning.
Yes,
for
beginning.
Japan.
Yeah, it's really still the beginning.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much, Ace.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you for the amazing interview.
Yeah, appreciate it.